making headlines. The President departs on an official visit to Estonia. The President establishes the types of economic activities permitted within the special economic zones in the Maldives. And the Maldives and Saudi Arabia signs an agreement regarding Hajj services for the upcoming Hajj season.
Assalamualaikum and welcome to PSM News in English with me, Idham Naim. President Dr. Mohammad Muiz departs on an official visit to the Republic of Estonia. The visit comes at the invitation of the President of Estonia, Dr. Alar Karis. This marks the first official visit to Estonia by a President of the Maldives. During the visit, President Dr. Muiz, accompanied by a high-level delegation, will participate in meetings and other high-level engagements aimed at strengthening bilateral cooperation between the Maldives and Estonia. The discussions will focus on key areas such as digital innovation, cyber security and e-governance, climate and environmental issues, as well as advancements in science and education. The goal of this visit is to advance the digital transformation envisioned by President Dr. Muiz. Throughout his presidential term, the President has actively promoted this objective both domestically and internationally and has sought partnerships with nations committed to building a digital and sustainable future. President Dr. Mohammad Muiz establishes the types of economic activities permitted within the Special Economic Zones (SEZ) in the Maldives, as well as the minimum investment thresholds required under the Special Economic Zones Act. The announcement was made through a presidential decree.
The presidential decree categorizes activities permitted in the SEZs into two tiers: investments within a minimum threshold of $100 million and sustainable township development projects requiring investments of $500 million or more. Among strategic investments, the decree defines 9 types of investments eligible for the $100 million investment category. This includes export-oriented manufacturing activities, transshipment ports including international logistics, ports, airports, bulk breaking, bunkering and docking services, universities and tertiary hospitals, specialty hospitals and world-class research and development facilities, world-class information communication technology, ICT parks and related facilities, international financial services and international trade centers, renewable energy sector, activities introducing new technologies currently unavailable in the Maldives, food security sector, and gas exploration activities. For sustainable township development projects, the decree mandates that the minimum investment of $500 million must be allocated specifically to sustainable township development components.
Maldives and Saudi Arabia signs an agreement regarding Hajj services for the upcoming Hajj season. The agreement was signed by the Minister of Islamic Affairs, Dr. Muhammad Shahim Ali Said, during his ongoing visit to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia's Minister of Hajj and Umrah, Dr. Tawfiq bin Fawzan, signed the agreement on behalf of the Saudi Arabian government.
The agreement outlines the policies to be followed with regard to the Hajj season, including payment procedures for the pilgrimage, the responsibilities of Maldivian Hajj service providers, and the establishment of the Maldives Hajj Mission to oversee Maldivian Hajj pilgrims. This annual agreement is signed between the Maldives and Saudi Arabia ahead of the Islamic Hajj month every year to ensure the best possible arrangements and services for Maldivian pilgrims. The Maldives government consistently undertakes extra efforts to enhance the Hajj experience and to ensure quality services for the pilgrims. The government also aims to increase the number of Hajj quotas available to the Maldives in alignment with President Dr. Mohammad Muiz's pledge to increase the quota available to the Maldives to 2,000 slots. In addition to signing the agreement, Minister Dr. Shahim also held discussions with Minister Dr. Tawfiq bin Fawzan on improving Hajj services. The minister thanked Saudi Arabia's King Salman bin Abdulaziz for his efforts to serve the two holy lands and expressed gratitude to Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman for his efforts to serve pilgrims from all over the world. He also emphasized President Dr. Muiz's desire to further strengthen the brotherly bond between the Maldives and Saudi Arabia. At the meeting, Minister Dr. Taufiq acknowledged the priority given by the Maldives government towards Hajj-related matters and thanked the government for its efforts.
Minister of Climate Change, Environment and Energy, Tariq Ibrahim, announces that the Maldives increased its renewable energy capacity by 17 megawatt since President Dr. Moise announced ambitious national targets at COP28. In his statement at the ongoing 15th session of the International Renewable Energy Agency, IRENA Assembly, Minister Tariq said the Maldives' installed renewable energy capacity had increased from 53 megawatts to 70 megawatts in just over a year, recalling President Dr. Mohamed Moise's historic announcement at COP28 in Dubai, UAE, in December 2023 to generate 33% of electricity through renewable energy sources by 2028. The minister added that the Maldives is at various stages of implementation of an additional 170 megawatts of renewable energy. Highlighting that climate change remains one of the most pressing challenges for small island developing states such as the Maldives, he called for immediate and bold actions to reach the agreed 1.5 degrees Celsius goal. Minister Tariq Ibrahim said, is accompanied at the IRENA Assembly in Abu Dhabi, UAE, by the Maldives Ambassador to the UAE, Mohammed Hussein Sharif, and the Director General at the Climate Change Ministry, Ahmed Ali. Maldives Inland Revenue Authority, MIRA, reveals that the Maldives dollar revenue surpasses $1 billion for the first time last year.
MIRA statistics shows that the state earned $1.06 billion in revenue in 2024. This figure is higher compared to the revenue received in the previous year, recorded at $949.74 billion. In addition to dollar earnings, revenue collection in Maldivian rupiah also saw an increase. In 2024, the state received the equivalent of $7.46 billion as MVR revenue, compared to an equivalent $6.66 billion recorded the previous year. The total revenue combined for both USD and MVR amounts to $1.80 billion, a significant rise compared to the $1.61 billion recorded the previous year. The highest dollar revenue last year was recorded during the months of March, December, January, September, and February. These are the months during which the most number of tourists visit the Maldives. The state received over $100 billion in revenue during these months. As such, $619.9 million was collected in dollars as GST, $123.6 million as tourism land rent, $73.3 million as departure tax, $70 million as green tax, and $55.9 million as income tax. The Maldives achieved this revenue milestone while President Dr. Mohamed Moise has been implementing strong measures to increase revenue and strengthen the economy. In addition to measures taken to increase the revenue, the government took unprecedented steps to strengthen the state's foreign currency reserves. These include amendments to relevant laws and regulations and mandating dollar-earning businesses to exchange a portion of dollar earnings with a local bank.
Maldives Meteorological Service Met Office warns that adverse weather conditions are expected to affect the Maldives this week. According to the Met Office, cyclonic circulations currently located far east of the Maldives in southwest Bay of Bengal are likely to move westwards. This system is expected to lead to the formation of intense convection clouds over the Maldives. As a result, the Met Office has forecast rain with occasional heavy showers and thunderstorms till 18th January. Average winds are expected to strengthen with rough seas with the possibility of swell surges, particularly over the northern and central atolls. The Met Office has advised the public to stay updated with weather forecasts, advisories and warnings, and to take necessary precautions. The National Disaster Management Authority (NDMA) urges the public to take precautionary measures to protect against potential damages caused by adverse weather.
The Maldives Meteorological Service Met Office warned that a low pressure system that has formed in the southwestern Bay of Bengal, east of the Maldives, is expected to move westward, potentially causing heavy rain and thunderstorms across a large part of the country till 18 January. In response, NDMA has called on the public to proactively prepare for the adverse weather. The authority recommends being aware of potential flooding due to heavy rain and placing sandbags or similar barriers at doorways to prevent water from entering homes. While it is advised to avoid parking motorcycles and other vehicles in areas prone to flooding, the NDMA also urged businesses and other facilities to take early precautions to protect their premises and valuable goods stored in shops, warehouses, restaurants and other storage facilities from potential damage. In particular, the authority advises against driving heavy vehicles during flood conditions, especially in Malé City. The authority also suggested relocating food supplies and household appliances such as washing machines and refrigerators from flood-prone areas to higher and safer locations. It reminded the public to be mindful of strong winds and to take appropriate safety measures, particularly by securing items that could be blown away by gusty winds. Turning off and unplugging electrical appliances when not in use is also advisable. For individuals planning sea travel, NDMA recommends obtaining updated weather information from relevant authorities before departure and ensuring proper safety measures and communication systems are in place during the journey. The authority has further advised the public to prepare in advance for the bad weather by stocking up on staple foods and essential supplies to avoid shortages.
Maldives Police Service (MPS) launches this year's first training and refresher program for taxi drivers. The training program, which is conducted serially, aims to familiarize new and seasoned taxi drivers with the land transport laws and regulations. MPS said the program will cover information on the Land Transport Act as well as the role of drivers in situations arising from accidents or other road incidents. The program will also provide instructions on how drivers should behave in such circumstances. This training, organized by MPS Road Safety Awareness and Prevention, will run from the 12th January to 15th January with a total of 309 drivers participating in the program. The program is conducted in 4 rounds throughout the year and is a regulatory requirement that taxi drivers have to complete when applying for a taxi license. Customs data shows that China's export growth picked up steam in December while imports recovered, closing out the year on a positive note as the world's second largest economy braces for mounting trade risks with the incoming US administration.
Imports surprised to the upside with 1% growth, the strongest performance since July 2024. Economists had expected a 1.5 decline. The government is targeting economic growth of around 5% for the year, a goal that have proved challenging to achieve at times in 2024. US President-elect Donald Trump, set to return to the White House next week, has proposed hefty tariffs on Chinese goods, sparking fears of a renewed trade war between the two superpowers. Adding to the challenges, unresolved disputes with the European Union over tariffs of up to 45.3% on Chinese electric vehicles threaten to hinder China's ambitions to expand its auto exports.
Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky says Kyiv is ready to hand over North Korean soldiers to their leader Kim Jong-un if he can organize their exchange for Ukrainians held captive in Russia.
Ukraine's President Zelensky said that Ukraine has captured 2 North Korean soldiers in Russia's Kursk region, the first time Ukraine has announced the capture of North Korean soldiers alive since their entry into the nearly 3-year-old war last autumn. On the social media platform, Zelensky said that there will undoubtedly be more, in addition to the first captured soldiers from North Korea. He added that it was only a matter of time before the Ukrainian troops managed to capture others. Ukrainian and Western assessments say that some 11,000 troops from Russia's ally, North Korea, have been deployed in the Kursk region to support Moscow's forces. Russia has neither confirmed or denied their presence. Zelensky said Russia and North Korean forces had suffered heavy losses. He said that Ukraine is ready to hand over Kim Jong-un's soldiers to him if he can organize their exchange for Ukrainian warriors who are being held captive in Russia.
Los Angeles Unified School District LAUSD Superintendent Alberto Carvalho says all schools and offices with the expectation of those in mandatory evacuation zones will reopen as firefighters race to contain the frontiers of two Los Angeles wildfires that burned for the sixth straight day.
Los Angeles Unified School District Superintendent made the announcement after school closings affected 429,000 students in Los Angeles. The announcement indicated that all schools and offices, with the exception of those in mandatory evacuation zones, will reopen.
No matter what, as we go into tomorrow, and we have made the decision to reopen all schools and all offices tomorrow, January 13th, at the regular time and hour of operation. However, we will reopen all sites based on an inclement weather protocol. What that means is that outdoor activity shall be restricted.
At least 24 people have died in what California Governor Gavin Newsom said could be the most devastating natural disaster in U.S. history, one that has destroyed thousands of homes and forced 100,000 people to evacuate. Flames have reduced whole neighborhoods to smoldering ruins, leveling the homes of the rich and famous and ordinary folk alike, and leaving an apocalyptic landscape. Officials said that 12,300 structures have been damaged or destroyed. By Sunday, more than 100,000 people in Los Angeles County had been ordered to evacuate, down from a previous high of more than 150,000, while another 87,000 faced evacuation warnings.
Coco Gauff is given a solid workout by former champion Sofia Kenin, but continues her lengthy winning streak to reach the second round of the Australian Open with a 6-3 victory on Rod Laver Arena on Monday.
The third seed, who led the United States to a United Cup triumph in Sydney to kick off her season, was troubled as much by bright sunshine and her own errors as Kenin's game in a tricky first set, which she won with an ace after 44 minutes. Kenin, who beat Gauff on her way to the title at Melbourne Park in 2020, again blew hot and cold to keep things interesting in the second set, but dropped her head after failing to break back for 4-4. Former US Open champion Gauff pounced to break her fellow American for a fourth time in the match and secured her 10th straight singles victory when Kenin went a wild forehand well wide of the tram lines. Gauff, whose best performance in Melbourne was her semi-final loss to eventual champion Aryna Sabalenka last year, will next face Britain's Jody Burrage. On the men's side, American Alex Michelson claimed the biggest win of his career when he stunned Stefanos Tsitsipas in the first round as the Greek 11th seed became the first major casualty at Melbourne Park. Michelson had beat Tsitsipas at the Japan Open last year, and the 20-year-old American kept his unbeaten record against Tsitsipas, a 2023 finalist at the Melbourne Grand Slam. Michelson kept his cool under pressure on rallies and found success at the net as he went up 2-0 up before Tsitsipas recovered to take the third set. At 4-4 in the fourth, Michelson hit a flurry of return winners to break Tsitsipas before serving out the match to set up a second-round tie against either Australian wildcard James McCabe or Spanish qualifier Martin Landaluce.
Nestled in a corner of central Tokyo, the extinct Media Museum is exactly what its title evokes. From Betacams to floppy disks and vintage Sony devices, the museum's displays are mostly devoted to old cameras and telecom equipments, with the oldest being a Japanese-produced Lily film camera manufactured in 1916.
The museum's cluttered shelves gives visitors like 59-year-old Mika Matsuda a glimpse of the past, with many of these gadgets when they were part of everyday lives. Deputy Museum Curator Barbara Asuka said the museum, which officially opened to the public in January 2023, was founded on the principle that eventually all media gadgets except for paper and stone, a direct reference to stone-carved cuneiform, will die out and become defunct. The items on display, which are mostly donated, are to share the fun with everyone. All artifacts on display can be touched and held by museum goers. Asuka said that the touch and feel approach encourages visitors to experience those gadgets using all 5 of the human senses. The museum regularly accepts donations from museum goers like Hisashi Ito, who brought in a small handheld watch and cassette tapes from his personal collection on Saturday. The 56-year-old automobile designer said he would rather share these old items with people than just discarding them. The extant media's museum's opening hours vary, with general admission priced at around 2,000 yen, about $12.7. Tickets for donors and students are 1,000 yen, about $6.34.
That concludes news for now. Thank you for watching PSM News. Have a good day.